All right, so I kind of want to go over something real fast with y'all that I actually think might help some of y'all out. So a lot of people have projects that are just sitting on the back burner that they just always say that they don't have, the drive, I guess, to jump at it and get going on the project. I know exactly what you're talking about, and this might help. Try this. This is what I do. So after I cut the camera off, I kind of went to start diving into this thing, and I kind of walked the car, and I'm like, what do I want to do first? Okay. As you can see, for a living back here, I do cars all day, every day. Okay. We take them in wrecked. We have to break them down. We have to fix them. We have to put them back together. My main guy, Eddie, does them way more than me. Normally, I'm more bouncing around painting the bodywork. But whenever I do jump on one, like I jumped on this Malibu, I'm putting together a video for this. Absolute train wreck. Anyway, sometimes you'll grab the first piece. I mean, you're just not feeling it. You're not feeling it. Like, you just don't want to do it. Kind of like you want to do it. You want the outcome and you enjoy doing it, but for some reason you just can't get going. So this is what works for me. That keeps me doing this all the time and keeps me finding the joy in it. So I went to start back here on this. I want to show you real life examples here, okay? You got these little tiny bolts. They go through this wing, okay? They go up through the bottom side of the trunk. Someone has drilled little tiny holes in them. Let me show you. So what they've done is they've cut little tiny holes. I don't know if the factory does that or whoever installed the wing. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that, That's fine. Let me put my finger in it, for example. So I can barely fit 2 fingers in there, okay? See what I'm saying? That right there gets frustrating. You got a bolt on the outside and you got a bolt on the inside. If we put this wing back on, we will be opening this up, okay? More than that. Opening this up a little bit more is not going to hurt the structure on this. It's not that delicate, okay? There's no sense in fighting these little tiny holes. So I started to take this off, and I was like, man, this is going to be a nightmare. Like this, to just get these things off. It's just going to be annoying. You don't want to drop the bolts. So then I said, okay, well, I'll go ahead and start taking these bolts off. I'll leave the hinges on the car and just take it off from the wing. Guess what? Without anybody here this morning, it's hard to reach them centers. I mean, I could do it, but there's other stuff I could be working on. So I quit on that. We're bagging and tagging everything. So I threw the things in there, got one bolt out, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm not feeling it this morning. That's not where my brain is pulling me. I need to get this thing rolling, and I'm not going to start right out the gate on something snagging. So I moved on to the taillights. They're simple, okay? The taillights kind of got me warmed up, okay? It kind of got me flowing this morning, and I got the taillights out because they were simple, and then I moved on to the side windows. Sure enough, the side windows has, I'm going to pull this back out of here, all these different nuts and bolt sizes. Some of them are missing. I put all my hardware back on it. Some are missing. It's and Randy told me this. Randy told me that there's all kinds of little things like this, that are just over the time of the car's life, you lose stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens to all of us. But, I think that was kind of bogging him down and, of just the thought. So I was like, I'm not doing that. I was like, I'm not doing that better. Moved on this. So we got the side window out. Got it yanked out. All the hardware, finding out different socket sizes. That was a nightmare for a couple seconds. But again, like in here, somebody has... Where am I at? Drilled the hole for the outside stud. So you had to actually undo this like this, okay? So if this goes back in, we'll be coming through here and cutting this out. Like, just take a little cut off real fast. Cut this out so you're not doing around that. That keeps the frustration down. Make things simple and easier to work on, when you're putting it together. And it takes a second to zip that out with a cutoff wheel. And if whoever put it in, I don't know who put this stuff in, and I'm not bad-mouthing anybody. Sometimes you don't have that tool. Perfectly fine. I'm talking about me. I'm directly talking about me. That stuff makes it easier on me. Funny thing is, I went to start pulling this Gorilla Tape off, holding this side in over here, and it has straight up pulled the paint off. That's how strong that Gorilla Tape is. That stuff's crazy. So somebody would have to, if he sells it, somebody will definitely have to go through here and do some body work and clean this window up. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this window out and then start pulling these trims off, and this is just really gonna get me warmed up this morning on easy stuff and really getting, the thought process flowing. I could get the bumper off, but I like to make some ground that makes me feel good about myself. So I figured I would just share that with y'all and let you know if you're struggling with your project, whatever you initially go out there and try to start doing, and you're just like, man, I'm tired or I'm not feeling it. That's probably not the case. It's probably still, in your heart, like you want to do this. Go try something else. Go jump on something else. Get it flowing, get yourself flowing. And then once you're flowing and you're moving, then, jump back on the harder stuff. And I promise you, every single day of your life will go way easier.
Watch my drip drop when I walk out. I'm in St. Laurent when I hop out. You ain't getting quote what you doing. You already lost when I hop out. Watch my drip drop when I walk out. I'm in St. Laurent when I hop out. You ain't getting quote what you doing. You already lost when I hop out.
Freak, are you kidding me?
Watch my drip drop when I walk out. I'm in St. Laurent when I hop out. You ain't getting quote.
So one of our first issues that we were correcting that Randy always complained about was just how this was actually overlapped. I think I showed you a minute ago. So we went ahead and trimmed this out. You don't ever want pieces touching each other, especially fiberglass. You don't want fiberglass rubbing on nothing, because then it starts to chip and stuff like that. So we went ahead and clearanced it. See how Zeus goes in right there, and then you can see you have a good gap from the factory. Let's go look at a car. Okay, y'all need to make your race cars look like your cars. Okay, see that gap? It's pretty decent. It should have a gap. On cars, your car has a gap around everything because you don't want stuff touching and the paint popping. So we went ahead and opened this up. Now when we take this front end off, we'll clean this edge up. Not cleaning this edge up right now, but went ahead and opened that up. That way that looks, closer to factory. How far the Zeus's are over this way, we can only clearance it so much. And then this piece was actually like on top of here practically. So we went ahead and clearance this. And again, I don't have a lot to work with because of how the Zeus's are. And we don't want to have to patch all this and move the Zeus's. So the issue actually is, this side is pretty flat now, okay? Whereas this side, it's decent. It's really decent, but it's still up a little bit. Let me grab the old trusty straight edge. Good old dollar ruler. Show you. Okay. So you can see right there, we got a little bit of teeter-totter. Okay, but that's, it rolls off the fender, but that's pretty decent. There's not a ton of gap. There's a little bit of gap, but you're talking about a fiberglass aftermarket part, And then right here, there's still a little bit of a gap, but the problem is whoever welded the brackets that these are on, they're actually a little too high. So I'm gonna leave that right there. If we'll talk with Randy. If he wants to cut these brackets off and move them, if it bothers him that much, then we can definitely go ahead and notch the brackets. And I might just go ahead and do it. But for right this moment, I've got my clearance looking decent here. When it comes off the car, we'll clean up all this. This all has to be cut out, but we'll clearance all that. But my gap here now is how I want it. It's nice and straight, and it's not overlapping, it's not touching. This is where these scratches right here are literally where it used to sit on top of that and vibrate and scratch the actual cow. So that's one of the first issues that we did. And also it was hitting a little bit up in here. So it was touching a little bit up in there, and it still is touching, kind of riding on it, but I did grind that to flat wheel that out as smooth as I can so that we can let this side go back where it wants to be and down, and not everything holding it up. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and fix this right here. So as you can see, the fiberglass, there's your cowl right there. Fiberglass hangs in too far, and then it's actually notched back right there. I don't know why. It's also stepped back again right there. It's just messy. It's nothing that anybody did. Somebody just didn't clean it up, whoever originally put the front on, I guess. But that just needs to be trimmed from the manufacturer. That way we can match the same radius of the cowl.
you kidding me?
Watch my drip drop when I walk out. I'm in St. Laurent.
So all that stuff, you know, when you get these panels new, you got to trim them yourself. And this one can still actually use a little bit more, but we're not going to do it. But you just want to kind of make sure that that matches the curves. It just looks better when it's not sloppy and hanging over. We definitely want to go ahead and clearance some more out of this right here too. It's a little tight to my liking. It's supposed to have a gap in there. Every body guy knows it's supposed to have a gap in there. So we'll just lay out our tape where we want to kind of cut it, and we're just going to go ahead and clearance that one back a little bit. For this one, we're going to use the same thing we used on the rim paint job video to clearance that a little bit, open it up. And all I'm doing, these front ends are pretty flexible, pretty strong. Just get you a block where you can put in here. See, we might actually put a 2x4 in that one. That way you're not taking your whole thing on and off the car and scratching everything up. I mean, scratching don't matter in this situation, but you know, beating everything up. So just get it up where you have enough room in there, and then you can just gently massage it. And on this one, your panel intersects in like this, so you technically want to be doing like this, but it'll take me forever, so I'm at least going to do straight up. You definitely don't want to be doing like this, because then you're going to be left with a V inside there where the two pieces do. So at least do it straight is what I'd probably do, is get it cut out straight, and then just give you a little taper on the backside. Okay. Like I said, this is gonna need some fiberglass repair on this corner because it is already tore up. Guess why it's tore up? Because it's not clearance. It's too close. That's why it's tore up. Okay, a lot better, a whole lot better. Check this out. Check that out, man. So we can actually get, I don't know if that'll go in there, but you get the idea. I mean, there's a way better gap, okay? It's not touching. All right, and then Mike can come in here and fix his fiberglass stuff. So let's check this other side real fast and see if we need to clearance it. I'm sure we do. Actually don't. Look how big this one is, okay? And this has already had some stuff, so I don't know if Randy's going to close that up, have Mike put a little more on it. It's a fiberglass part, so it's not gonna be perfect, but at least this side is not touching. And you can actually see it has some stress cracks, but it's not tore up as bad as the other side. And a lot of that has to do with whoever installed these brackets, you know. I'm sure we don't want to get involved in, okay? I'm sure we don't want to get involved cutting out brackets and redoing all that, because it's just, man, that affects everything. So that starts changing everything. But this also affects your door. See how the door's tore up a little bit right here? So we're probably gonna need to clearance the edge of this door just a little and clearance this fender just a little to fix where somebody originally set this a little bit too far back. Okay, was starting to chase the door, wanting to sag. First thing that we had going on was this was just a little bit loose, so it had a little bit of play in it. You can see this edge right here is a little choppy, so we're gonna go ahead and put our tape on it from here to here and radius this out where it matches, and it's nice and equal, because you can see where it's chunked up from the door hitting it, taking it off so much. The hinge, the top hinge is bent right here, okay? You can see how this is actually bent out. I don't know if that's going to play a role in it or not. I'm pretty sure if this is the top, so if I suck this hinge back in and straighten this hinge back out, that that might lift up the back of the door. But when you're doing something like this, you just want to chase one piece at a time, because everything you do is going to affect something else. I do know I want to clean this up, so I'm just going to lightly clean this up. Not going to take much at all. I'm literally just going to clean the jagged edges up first so that it looks good while I'm working on everything. And then we will start fitting it on and working on the sag and the drop. Probably take the front end off, shift it back so that we can mess with them hinges. Okay, so we pulled the hinge out of the door, and you can actually see it is starting to develop a hairline crack right there. Okay, see the crack right there where my fingernail's at? So we'll get this bent back straight and get this test fit and everything, but we will need to get Mike on the fab side of CRC to weld this up come Monday, because that's definitely gonna split in the future, and that's probably what's causing part of the sag right there. So Mike can run a nice pretty bead all the way around that. Okay, so just them minor adjustments already have us where we are not, you see, we're not hitting the frame no more. I know it looks really close to y'all, but you can see the movement right there. So that got us off the frame. Now the only thing that we want to make sure is we want to start trying to get our gaps and everything looking right, and also hoping that when it opens, okay, so it don't really sag no more. I mean, it don't really pull down. Let's see if I can, yeah, it just opens up. Okay, so we got the drop. So the drop, a lot of the issue was with the door dropping was A, the bent hinge, and then B, the loose pin up top. So Mike, like I said, on the fab side, can definitely weld that up on Monday to make it stronger. So let's get on with adjusting these body lines.
When I walk out, I'm in Saint Laurent when I hop out. You ain't getting guap, what you doing? You already lost when I hop out.
All right, so I like that. I got rid of this little tiny sharp edge. This was like literally a point. You don't want a sharp edge. Like I said, Mike will fix this come Monday or next week. So went ahead and took some of the meat off the door. There's just a little too much meat on the edge. It's a little too square. Let's see if we can show you down here. See how this down here is really square? What that leads to is chipping, because they can bust off the edge. So we went ahead and worked this up here and rolled the edge out a little and took some meat off basically at a 45 like this, but then stepped it out with a block so your eyes don't see it whenever it's done. Now this still gets a little bit of, I'm sure Mike's gonna do a little fiberglass work on this. It still gets primer, it still gets all that, so it will come back out a little, but at least we don't have such a sharp, nasty edge now. It's a lot smoother. Went ahead and cleaned up in here, went ahead and cleaned up on the back side of here, went ahead and cleaned up this curve like this, and cleaned up that radius a little bit more. And I think the trick's gonna be with this door is when you take this on and off so you don't damage the paint, is to go ahead and undo the Zeus fasteners on this side, and then just simply take you roll of tape, rag, anything, and just kind of you know, cheat this thing up like this so that you got a little bit more room to fudge it, since this front clip is just a tiny bit back. And when I say it's back, y'all, I'm talking about like 1/8 of an inch or less. You know, it's not much, but that's all it takes to have a little bit of clearance issues. You know, so now it's a lot better. And then also, I think I'm gonna tell Randy that I'd like to put seals back in the car all the way around, if he will, or at least a piece here. And he had this one down here, and then that's the reason why the window was sucked in at the top. It wasn't really working that great. There was no stop for the window. So if he don't want to do seals, then we can cut this one and do, you know, some little pieces wherever. But you know, I imagine the seal adds a little bit of weight that we probably don't want. But you know, if at least get some seal from here around the corner, you know, to help with the window, and then maybe even, you know, to there. If we could run it there around this right to here, that would probably be perfect. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and get rid of this line right here. So this is actually just a mold line. It's where the parts are put together, but you can, as you can see, it's not all there. It's really sloppy. This piece was obviously, this nose was obviously put back on after accident in a rush, and threw some spray paint on it just to get it out there. This actually right here is actually humped out, so it's just messy. It's not equal. If it was equal, that'd be one thing to kind of simulate like a front end on it, the nose, but it's messy, and you know, half of it's not even there. We just want to go ahead and block this thing so it's all nice and straight and beautiful.
You already lost when I hop out.
can actually see that there's actually already some filler, a little bit of filler in this area. I don't know if that's from when the part was manufactured or from somebody else, because like I said, I don't 100% know the history on the car. You can see sanding scratches in the paint right there. That's sanding scratches, but that could have been the manufacturer, because I'm pretty sure they just do these pretty rough and then expect you to finish coat them. So glad we went ahead and got rid of that line, because that was, I mean, you don't even have that line down here. Like from here to here, there was like, it wasn't even there. So it's just stupid to be there. All up here on top is gonna need a little bit of fiberglass work in here. There's some nicks and such, and so when Mike does that, he can just sling some fiberglass over this, and then we'll block out fiberglass instead of putting actual body filler on this. Try to keep body filler off of this as much as possible because of the vibrations and everything. Okay, when you're sanding and you're prepping your front end on a fiberglass one-piece front end, it seems that the manufacturer, of course, I mean, I get it, they're just doing it fast. This is normally rolled, so this is kind of just rolled, okay? Take your DA and you want to cut that flat. So you want to cut that flat like that. And you can see right here, we haven't sanded none of this yet. You want the spacing between here and here to be approximately the same. So you want to keep cutting it flat until that's the same. You don't want to get into the carbon fiber or the fiberglass, because then you'll cut through and you're creating a weak spot. But there's enough primer on here from their manufacturing process, and then any other paint or anything that was on top of it. Even if it's a brand new part, there's still probably enough on top of there that you can cut it flat. And if not, you know, take you a little dolphin glaze or a little primer or something and go around the edge and then cut it flat. But you kind of want to get you a sharp line here, sharper, it's still gonna be rolled, but a sharper crisp line here and a more crisp line here, and that's gonna make it look more factory, you know, and not so fiberglass-y, where it's just like rolled. Like this was literally just like rolled all the way around and not flat. So you want to cut this flat first. It's like we go over in our other videos when we're repairing a quarter panel or a wheel well, and then you want to kill this panel into that, and you want to end up with a pretty decent little crisp line that then you could take sandpaper and go back over and knock the edge down, and that's going to make it look closer to how it was from the factory. All right, so here's where we're at for the first Saturday morning on it. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna do some family stuff this afternoon, and then be back tonight. So I think Randy and possibly some other guys might come out tonight and do a little bit on it. So I try to get some sanding out when everybody's not here, because it is loud, continuous dust, and it's not dirty per se, it's just loud, and you know, you can't really talk or do anything, so it's easier to do when you have a group of people that other stuff, you know. But I mean, unfortunately I'll probably still be sanding. I got a lot of sanding to do on this one, boy. But the front end got the fenders for the most part sanded out and knocked down, so that's a good start. And then hopefully Randy this afternoon can get, you know, we'll take this thing off probably, because the fenders were kind of flimsy, so I wanted to do up here first. But we'll probably take this off and sit this up on a table to do the bottom and take the headlights out, take the mouthpiece out of the front of it and everything. But it's a good start for Saturday. So stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you want to see about this car while it's here, because it's going to be here for a minute, and I can go over anything you want to see, and I can get Randy to go over anything that you want him to go over. And you know, we'll try to cover the whole process, but make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications so you can get updated every time we update you on this car, because I do, if you've been paying attention to my channel, I do pump videos out really fast. So enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Watch my drip drop when I walk out.